All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Good Time Podcast. I'm here with my co-host Joe and our friend Zende Murdock. Everybody,
Hello.
Pew,
Zende,
pew,
what's
pew, pew,
up, brother?
pew.
Exactly.
um,
Stoked to be here.
before we get started, make sure to head over to Spotify, leave us a 5-star review, leave any comments, any questions you have. Head over to the YouTube channel, hit subscribe. But yeah, we're here today with a very special guest, somebody who we met because of Instagram. But the way I discovered Zende is that he plays drums in a band called the Runarounds, and they did a show on Amazon Prime, Prime Video, and the show is badass. And I found myself watching the show, and I was like, because my girlfriend brought the show up. She goes, "Oh, like." My friend said we should watch this show. It's about a band, and you know how like those shows sometimes are. It's like, I don't know, are these even musicians? Like, I don't know what's even going on. And we're watching the first episode, or whenever the first like band performance was, and I was like, hold up, like these kids are actually playing, or like if they're not playing, I can tell they know how to play. Like if this is not actually a live recording in this moment, which I have a lot of questions about, by the way. We'll talk about that later. And so I hit up Zende on Instagram, and I was like, listen, bro, you rip. This show's awesome. And now we're buds. So Zende, welcome to the show, man. We like to start off by asking, how did you get into drums? What got you playing drums in the first place?
Well, thanks for having me, guys. It's awesome to be here. As soon
Yeah,
as you hit me up for this, I was super stoked about it. So yeah, thanks for having me. My
of
dad's a
course.
drummer. So he started me when I
Oh,
was like 2 years old, man.
Nice.
It's pretty much all I don't remember a life without drumming.
Dude,
really?
same.
Okay.
Same.
Yeah.
My pops was the one for me. That's awesome.
Yeah. They get
Yeah.
you started young, man. They want those drummers
Yeah.
started.
Is your dad nice with it too, or are you
Oh
better
yeah.
than him?
Oh yeah. He's
Yeah.
he's he's my biggest inspiration for sure.
That's so cool. Did he like ever tour any bands or like play?
I used to play in a band called Mother's Finest. They're like a southern funk rock group from the '70s. My dad's the youngest member of the band, and my dad's 60, so they're up there. And
Cool.
their heyday was a long time ago, but they were doing some really cool stuff back in the day, man.
Were they like touring and like going over to Europe
Yeah,
and doing all that
yeah.
stuff? Yeah.
It was mostly European based touring, honestly, through the '80s all the way through I guess the early 2000s. My grandparents are the singers of the group, so it's a family
No
affair.
Oh,
way. Whoa.
sick.
Yeah, so I mean, they started even when my dad was a kid, and then he joined the band when he was in his early 20s, so around my age, and yeah, and so he continued playing with them for quite a while, and he has actually recently just stopped touring, but that was
Whoa.
his main thing. Yeah,
Wow. Okay. And so do you where do you live? You live in South Carolina or North Carolina or
I
something?
live in Atlanta.
Oh, okay. So this is we have I have so many questions for you, bro, cuz like, I watched the whole series. Obviously it's not necessarily my demographic of like
Of course.
viewers, but I like I said, I found it interesting because I was like, holy shit, these kids literally, you're not kids, but these guys
Oh,
like
totally,
actually
totally.
really rip.
Thanks, man.
Um, um, so how did the band start? Like, did you grow up playing in bands, like in church or anything like that? And like, when did the runaround start?
I'm just like everybody else. I was just playing in like a bunch of shitty high school bands.
Yeah.
No good, just kind of having fun. But when I graduated, I didn't really have my hands on a solid group, or really any musicians that I felt like I could go the distance with. Um, but I was 18 and I had just graduated, and my sister um, she was following an actress named Madeline Klein, who is in a show called Outer Banks, which is
Hmm.
our director, the guy who directed and created the show. Um, he has another show on Netflix called Outer Banks, and she is the lead in this show. And they have been going, they're about through their last season, but they started back in 2020, so that's when this was all taking place. That's the year I graduated. My sister was following this girl on Instagram, and she had posted this literally just a story, not even a proper post, man, a story where it said, "Hey, the Outer Banks creators are looking for rock musicians, ages 15 to 18. If that sounds like you, upload a video here." She sent me a screenshot of it. Um,
Is that the lead actress in that show?
yeah, Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I watched at least one of the seasons or two of the seasons again with
It's
my
a great
girlfriend. But
show.
yeah, it's an
And
awesome
she's
show. Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
She's
yeah,
super talented.
yeah.
And so it was the two leads. It was her and the lead guy Chase who posted this. I ended up seeing her version of it, of course, through my sister. Um, and I was like, hey, I'm 18 at the time, and am a rock musician, so I need a band. And my only hope when joining, or I guess for when auditioning for the project, was because I mean that very much sounds like they're looking for extras for Outer Banks, right? So my hope was hopefully make a few $100 and like meet some kids who were going to be talented, because if there's an auditioning process, I'm sure they're gonna, once you get to the end, I'm sure these kids are going to be like good musicians. So I saw it as a way to like meet guys my age that were going to be good at their instruments, and thinking hopefully they'd want to start something after this like Outer Banks appearance. So I auditioned with that in mind, and got through the like 2 week auditioning process, which was lengthy. And I was wondering why it was so lengthy. They were asking me all these personal questions about my life and my upbringing and all this. And I'm like, don't you just want me to kind of play drums in the background of like a party scene? Like, why do you need to know all this about me? But I went through the process. And then once I got to the end, I hopped on a Zoom with Jonas, the director of the show, Jonas Pate. And he explained that he had like purposely kind of misled the auditioning process, to try and get like organic teenagers that just kind of want to play music to audition for it, as opposed to like maybe Disney kids or like actor musician kids. And yeah, he was like, I'm gonna make a TV show about a young rock band, and I would like you to play the drummer of the group. Are you interested in doing that? And I told him, I was like, man, that sounded really cool. I just have one big problem. I have zero acting
Yeah,
experience.
I've never acted before, bro.
I mean,
Yeah, I was good.
school theater. Like I've got zero, man. And he was
Right.
like, no, that's cool. We're gonna show you. And I was like, you're gonna show me? He was like, yeah. I was like, is that possible? He's like, I don't know. It's never been done before, but we're gonna try it. See what happens. That was 6 years ago.
Wow.
6 years ago it's been already since this.
Yeah, man. It was a
Wow.
Wasn't that like last year?
Came
Like
came
when the
out
show
last
came
year,
out?
right?
Yeah, man. It came out
So
last year.
what was that 6 years ago? No, I thought that was for the runarounds you were talking about.
No, yeah, it totally was. The development
Oh,
process.
Wow.
it just took that long
Took a
to.
long time.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
typically-
Okay. So that's so interesting. So basically, you had to go through a tryout process, and
Yeah.
then the show actually created this band.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Whoa.
This is so interesting because my assumption up until 30 seconds ago was that you guys had a band and that they came to your band and they said, hey, you guys are a good fit for this show.
That's what I thought too.
It also goes to show, like, I've never acted before, but like you hear comedians talk about how, like, and this is no knock to like people who take acting and acting seriously or whatever, but like comedians are always knocking acting. They're like, it's so easy. Like, that's like comedians are such like natural actors. It's so hard. It's really hard. It's not easy.
Agreed.
But I think if you're, comedians are probably a little more used to being on camera or whatever.
Yeah,
But,
of course.
so for you, what were some of like the biggest challenges of like the early days of like trying to act on camera and like get scenes right? Because I mean, frankly, you seem like a natural, and when I'm watching the show, when I was watching the show, I was literally thinking to myself, these kids seem like they have some acting experience at bare minimum. Like but it did feel organic and real at the same time. So shout out to the director, because he cast it like literally perfectly. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it was we had a coach. His name was Russ Blackwell. He's one of the top acting coaches in the States. They brought him on about 2 years into this 5-year development process of putting the show together. Typically, when they put together cast, from what I understand, is casting is last when it comes to like grabbing your actors. Everything happens, and then they go and get the cast, and that's why the turnaround is always so quick for actors from joining the project to starting the filming process. But with us, completely 180, which is why it took so long. They had to find us first for several reasons that we can get into. But they brought on an acting coach a couple years into the process, and he's just the sweetest guy. He's like 65, so he's like retired, and like this is like his thing now. So he had like a whole acting career, and then is now like acting coaching. Brought him in, and he basically just like they told him, listen, these kids have zero experience, and we're trying to get them ready for an Amazon Prime show. And he's like, oh yeah, okay, that's fun.
Crazy. That's so crazy.
He didn't know where to start. He was like,
Yeah.
well, there's no like show me what you got, right? Because it's like we've got nothing. So he very much like kind of threw everything that he knew about acting coaching, which he had been doing for a little while at that point. He threw it all out the window and just kind of started personalizing the experience to the 5 of us, and separate for each member as well. Like we didn't all roll through the same kind of process. He really did an amazing job of like personalizing it. And just kind of learning as we went. We just like, he's an incredible coach and obviously an amazing actor. And so he just kind of like just rolled with the waves, rolled with the punches. And we figured it out over the course of about 3 years.
That's so cool, man. So who wrote the songs then?
We did get to write the songs, which was very special to us.
Okay, so this is very interesting. So like, because like some of those songs are like hits. That was another thing that caught my ear, is that immediately I was like, not only can these guys play, but some of these songs are hits. Like sounded like they got written by serious songwriter hits.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no, and I mean that. And it's like, so because one of my questions was basically how much creative control did you have, or do you have with the band? And it's like, and then which brings me to my next question, which is like, does Amazon like own the band? Does the director own? Does the director have
in that sense, which is very, very nice.
You're what? Sorry.
We were protected in that sense.
So you guys got like, you guys like were like, hey, we're gonna be our own band and we're gonna get our own manager and we're gonna have our own business here.
Yeah.
That you can like sort of use for the show, but like once the show's over and we're touring, like the show had like Amazon's not taking a cut of touring or whatever.
Right. Yeah. There was like, because obviously you could see it going both ways. You could see it just being like a thing for the TV show and kind of worked through Amazon, or you could see it going separate. So we had the option to kind of do both. But we were asked pretty early in the process, like, what do you guys want this to be? After we were formed and we understood like we're going to be in this project, what do you guys want it to be? How much control do you want to have? Which was like, for us as like 18-year-olds, that's quite like
that's a heavy question, because you don't really know anything about touring or like literally anything. You're just like, I don't know. Yeah.
Did you guys have your parents with you? Like, I know you were 18, you were adults. But okay, your parents were with you helping?
I had
probably,
just so like
did you get lawyers involved? Did you get like
a couple years down the line?
It was a bigger process.
The first couple years were pretty quiet. We didn't do a whole lot after like meeting and like, because then it became like, okay, we need to pitch the TV show to networks and like do all that kind of like TV stuff. So you guys just kind of
cast it before they pitched the show.
Yeah, crazy,
well, I guess
right?
Did they at least film a pilot to pitch that, or were they just pitching it the idea?
What we did, they casted us, and they told us that the reason that they got us first is because with like us not being actors, it would be more challenging to write characters and then try to get us to like mold into those characters. They figured it would make more sense to find the kids that we like, and make sure that they're musically talented and that they can like gel together, that they like each other, all that good stuff. And then let's write the characters to who they are. Let's interview the crap out of them, and then let's build the characters to who they are. That way, it's as little of a stretch for the acting as possible.
That's why they started asking you so many personal questions and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. And that continued very extensively for quite a while. Everything about me, and I was like, oh God.
Well, I don't know anything about
all this.
I don't know anything about acting, but I would imagine that acting as yourself is probably the easiest thing to act.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I haven't done it any other way, but for me, it was very comfortable.
And because they cast an eclectic group of young men, like everyone's so different, personality wise and just whatever. But it is incredible that the band actually successfully wrote good songs and like found a way to
That's
like
crazy.
it's just unbelievable to me that that worked
Thank
out. Like
you.
the director's
It made
probably
us happy. We it was a process though, like because of what you said, it was an eclectic group of kids and we were coming from vastly different musical backgrounds.
for sure.
I think that's the only thing that like looking back I feel like could have been better about the casting process. We didn't get asked a lot about music. We were asked about everything
Oh,
other than like
so
music and like influences. And that made it so that we were coming from lots of different musical backgrounds, and it was challenging for us to kind of find a sound that we felt like we were all happy with.
interesting. Okay, so like, what was your musical background? What did you grow up playing, and what in an ideal world, if you could, in an ideal world now or maybe even 6 years ago, like what kind of music would you be playing? And then like, give me an example of a challenge like with one of the guys or something. Like, were they into like avant-garde jazz or some shit like that that just didn't, yeah.
I grew up primarily just playing like rock, alternative rock,
Cool.
pop punk.
Cool.
My dad is a rock centered drummer, and Mother's Finest was a rock band, and so that's kind of what I was mainly into. And so I was coming in with like, especially a few years ago, I feel like as I've obviously am I getting older and my music is changing, but especially
Yeah.
when I was like 17, 18, it was all just like pop punk, like Green Day and
Yeah.
like stuff like that for
Yeah.
me. So that's what I came into the band hoping to find. Um, and there was no pop punk love anywhere within the
Yeah,
group.
yeah. I don't get that. I don't get that vibe from any of the other
There was
guys.
the primary sense that we all landed on was indie rock because it was a middle ground that we felt like everybody could come to and be happy with.
Mm.
But funnily enough, there were like Axel loves jazz, and Will and Jeremy they grew up playing like a lot of pop, but also like classic rock. And then Jesse, he's like, it's very like emo, like kind of indie music, slow stuff, and like he likes to rock as well, but like that's kind of where his bag was at. So it was, yeah, we had like a large range basically from like anywhere from pop to jazz to rock. And we found indie rock as
Indie
a
rock.
middle. Yeah, because like
That's
I mean,
awesome.
indie rock with some cleaner guitars.
indie rock is like the funnest genre on
It really is.
drums. It
It
is because
really
it's not crazy difficult, but you can also have fun with it, and you can throw in difficult or like cool drum parts or whatever, and
Yeah.
not it's a fun. You can underplay it, you can overplay it. Like I
It's
love
very
indie rock.
listenable too, just
Very
It,
listenable
in
too.
terms of a genre of music.
fancy and like you said, you can like it's very open to like the public. You can get into it easily. It's digestible.
It's very accessible. Yeah, you can just my girlfriend doesn't like any screamy music, for example.
No,
Like there's
not
a
into the
ton
screamo.
there's a ton of or pop punk or like any of like
Or
if
that.
there's any sort of like distorted guitars, it's usually like I'm not really she's not really her
Gotcha.
thing.
Gotcha.
And uh but she loved the band and the show, you know what I mean? So
Cool.
okay, so how much creative control did you have in the show? And then, like, were there any moments that were based on actual real life events?
Mm.
Yeah, because the show was done so well that I actually did think it was like, oh, this band has a story. Because that
And that-
story, I'm watching the show going like, I lived through all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like I
yeah.
lived through the local band things, the touring in the vans, the showing up to shows and nobody's there, the like sound issues, like the stuff. There was like little things throughout the show where I was like, damn, I've lived through all this shit, dog.
Relatable.
Fights within the band and like somebody doesn't want to show up on time, like all that
Yeah.
stuff. So like
That's
how
cool
much
to hear.
how much say did you guys have like in the actual creative direction of the band part of the show?
When we were first formed, the idea was for them to bring in songwriters. The idea, I think, for them was just to find kids who are just musically talented, and then we'll teach you how to act. We'll get the songs written. Just know how to play your instrument. That's all you need to do. Once we got through the auditioning process and like we're able to start jamming together, they brought us all out to jam together in Charleston. Gave us a few songs to learn. We all like agreed on which ones we wanted to play. We learned them at home, came in, jammed them, and it was like instant chemistry. And we felt like, I mean, at least for me and any of the groups I have played with so far in my life, hadn't been that good. And it was like day one, and so I was like, okay, like these guys can play. And so once we did that and got through those first few days, they were like, "Do you guys have any songs like separately? Do you guys write stuff?" And everybody kind of had some stuff to bring to the table. So we sat there and we played stuff for each other with like all the directors in the room and all that good stuff. And it was kind of just like a big old like listening party. And they were shocked. They were like, "These songs are really good." Do you guys want to maybe take a stab at like writing stuff together? Like they changed their process kind of on the mark right there, because they were like, maybe these kids can just write the songs themselves, which was a huge honor for us. We're so young, and it's like that's quite a responsibility to write like a soundtrack for a TV show. So the fact that they were like putting faith in us to be able to handle it, it made us feel really seen, and like it
That's
made us
dope.
feel like,
Well, they probably saw how talented. They probably saw how good you guys were. They probably saw how good the songs were, and they're like, we
they're
don't
like,
have to
"We can do
pay a
this."
producer to come in to do this anymore. We can save ourselves a little bit of bread.
Wait,
So
so
when-
when was this along the line of the 6 years before you
was like
started
year one.
filming and whatnot?
This was like, yeah, this was 2020, like year one, kind of week one.
Wow. When did you
Uh,
start filming it all?
We didn't start until 2024.
Okay, so
Wow,
4 years.
okay.
Wow. Okay, it's interesting.
Yeah, it was a long process.
So, outside of like the music part of it, did you guys give any input? Like, was there anybody in the band with experience? Like, I'm trying to think of specific scenes, but like being like, oh, we should do a scene where somebody doesn't show up to band practice on time, or like something like that, like something I've lived in real life.
Yeah.
Was there any of that or no?
We didn't necessarily pitch scenes, but what was cool is that like they would write or have an idea for like, we want to do this kind of scene, and they would give us like, a songwriting assignment based on that, which for us made it kind of like songwriting camp, because you come in at the top of the day, you get your assignment, and then like you put together a demo in 8 hours and send it back and see if it's worth continuing, based off of the TV show side of their opinion of it. But a lot of times like it would be that, but then also like, since it was such a long process in the beginning of like everything being so quiet and us just kind of banding it, we would come up with songs just to kind of play, and if they found one they really liked, they would write a scene around it and say, okay, we like this song a lot, how can we
Wow.
work it into the story, because this is a cool song, we want to use it, but there's nothing for it right now. So they didn't necessarily have us pitch like scene ideas, but it was stuff like that. We would come up with a song, like, oh, this song is cool, let's find a way to work it in, let's find a way that makes sense so that it fits into the story.
Just
And
winging it.
then like when it came to like any kind of like rehearsal scenes or anything, they really like let us lead the charge in terms of the language, because nobody had ever been in a band. None of the TV show people had ever been in a band or been in a band rehearsal. They had no idea like what that looks like. So those kind of scenes, they let us lead the charge. Like, what does band practice look like? What has band practice been to you in your life? Let's have it show up on
Very
screen.
interesting.
That's
So
cool.
like, so prior to the show, were you in any band? I know you said you played in a bunch of like shitty bands in high school. Was there any band that was like serious, that was actually trying to get movement going, or was it sort of just
We all
whatever?
tried. They all tried.
Yeah.
but we're good.
Yeah.
We're good. Yeah, and I knew it too, which made me sad. But I did. I
No,
live
that's
in a
okay. No,
here
bro,
in-
that's what we've talked about it on the podcast a few times, and I've told this story on other podcasts and stuff. But like, that's my come up. My come up was I played in a billion different bands, and I tried it out with a bunch of different types of bands, and nothing was working out. And I got to about 24, 25 years old, and I was like, damn, this is just none of this is working. My only real like legitimate career path right now is to kind of go the hired gun route, and which is impossible. And you and I were chatting the other day about kind of that topic in general, and we can chat more about it obviously in the future. But yeah, so I understand. I've done the whole local band thing, been in a billion different band practices. That's why the show felt so relatable, and like it was so fun to watch from that perspective. It just kind of brought me back to like being 18 again, like just playing in basements, and that was like some of the funnest times of life, period.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so I have to ask this question. How many I have to know the answer to this question. How many of the music scenes, the performance scenes,
Yeah.
were recorded while being filmed? Like
All of
not
them.
pre-recorded.
All of them?
Okay. Yes. Okay. See, this is what makes the show so badass, and I really wish that because it's such a bummer that the show didn't get continued, because this is a part of the show that you don't see in like any other movies or shows or anything. They're always miming that shit. It's basically a glorified music video.
Lip syncing.
And that's why, and that's why when
Literally.
I watched the first episode, and I was just basically kind of watching the show, and I sort of was like, whoa, hold up. They're
Are they
actually
doing
playing.
that?
Yeah, like there's microphones. They got microphones above the kit. Why do they have microphones above the kit if nothing's... And so that's rad. So every performance scene was recorded while being shot.
Yeah, there is not
That
a
is
single,
so sick.
not a single pre-recorded thing on the TV show. I think
Were they all live? Were they all one takes, or did you do multiple takes and they chopped it together?
We did do multiple takes and cut it and did the whole they needed that just for the purpose of getting multiple
100%.
That's fair.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely ran through it a ton of times, but it was always live. When at the very start of the process, our director Jonas came up to us and said, the reason that we're doing it this way is because I want to try making a TV show where the music is live. I don't think it's ever been done before.
So fire.
And he was like, I want to see if it's
so
possible.
fire. Tell him,
right?
Text him after this and tell him how
Great
much
idea.
I appreciate that. I think that idea is so fire, and I think that might hopefully I see that again, because people always
That's
ask
how it should be.
It's how it should be. Has anybody ever asked you guys about Whiplash? Every time an old guy finds out I play drums, they're always like,
Have you seen Whiplash?
have you seen Whiplash? And is Neil Peart your favorite drummer? It's the two questions.
Classic.
Yeah. And I always was like, I didn't like Whiplash because I felt like I was just watching a music video. And it's it's a guy who can't play drums acting like he's playing drums, and none of it was relatable. And it took my brain out of it. But Runarounds, all the music scenes, I brought my brain into it, because I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? They're actually playing. So
right, and it gets you going as a musician watching the show. It's it makes you happy. And so they pitched it to us with the idea, this is the reason why we're bringing you in as a non-actor. We want to record this music live. No one knew how to do it. We brought in it was really just a 3 or 4 man team. It was a real small team, real small music department. And we kind of hunkered down 6 weeks before filming started, and tried to, how do we do this? How do we record it? How does it sound any good? So it was a big process of trial and error. And like you said, it sucks that we don't get to go again, because everyone kind of felt like we had somewhat found our footing by the time we were getting to the later episodes. And one of the things that we were most excited for about going back was expanding upon learning how to get better at doing this. Not only as the band playing, but for the production team to figure out how do we keep getting better at recording these kids. But to be fair, for it sucks that we don't get to go again. But to be fair, for the first time, going through this sequence of episodes, they really got it together. I mean, quickly. They had all the amps in ISO boxes kind of off the stage, recording those in there. And then my drums were, funnily enough, they were mic'd on the inside, but we would use the mics on the kit to make it look like they were still doing all the things. So the overheads were going, but there were mics inside the drums.
That's funny.
And we then, on the backside in the editing process, we were brought in to make sure that, specifically for me,
things sounded right.
To make sure that there wasn't a moment where I was doing a fill and they used a fill from a different take, so that it wouldn't stick.
Yeah.
I see. This is the kind of detail, and this is what I'm saying, because that's why I asked you if everything was chopped together or one taked, because it really felt like so many scenes were one taked. And I have an insanely sensitive eye for a crash cymbal moving in the wrong part of a thing or something,
Yeah.
Or you see a guy swing both arms, but you only hear one crash, that type of thing.
Crash.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it wasn't 100% perfect, but it sure seemed like it was
We got as
very
close as
damn really really close to having that feel. I think it's so cool, man.
It's a very cool concept. I think they pulled it off in a very clever way.
Man, it's such a bummer that it doesn't. I hate to harp on it, but man,
Is it possible another network
really
can pick
cool.
it up though?
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I think the goal for us at the moment is to
The
try
show
and
would
grow.
kill on Netflix, bro. How did it not get
Bro,
whatever?
straight up.
Oh, we're at a place right now where the goal is to kind of grow the band as much as possible, and then if you succeed in doing that and you really find enough traction, then the opportunity to do another season or do like a movie of some sort would be
Mm-hmm.
wide open because now everybody's interested because the band is big.
Yeah. So it sounds like you fell in love with acting and being on screen and stuff. Like, what was kind of the hardest part, and then like what came easily to you on the acting side?
I mean, it was a ton of fun. Playing
Yeah.
this alternative version of yourself. I mean, like I said, they interviewed us extensively and then wrote the characters. And so the character is me, but having grown up in a different part of the world, with like a different family and like, but in every other sense, it's like it's me. It's me
Mm-hmm.
on screen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very, I don't know like how many people have been able to experience that, even people that have been acting their whole lives, to be able to like jump into like kind of this alternate like world two version of yourself. So
That's
very,
cool.
very cool process. Um, Very trippy, like walking into my character's house because they would like have like all my baby photos and stuff, like up around the walls and
Dang.
like they're pulling stories from my real life and having them like play out in the scenes. So the thing that came easiest was, which is so ironic, the thing that came easiest was like being in front of the cameras, but that wasn't by accident. They made it in a way so that the first thing that we did together was like play in just in front of the cameras, just like play your music in front of the cameras. Don't do anything else. Just play and get used to having these things in your face. And then once we graduated from that, it was like kind of they baby stepped it, brought us onto the Outer Banks set, Jonas's other TV show. They were in their
Yep.
third season at the time, and then we
And that's
went in.
filmed like in Charleston or outside of
In
Charleston or
Charleston.
something, right?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
filmed that in Charleston, South Carolina. And we had our full circle moment of like what we thought we were auditioning for, just like being a party scene, or being a band in a party scene. We ended up doing that, and being in like a little party scene in Outer Banks. And that was super helpful for us. The whole purpose of doing it was to make sure that we can kind of look at the production, because it's the same team, it's the whole same crew, same 200 people that are shooting the two shows. So they were like, okay, we're gonna bring you guys in for 2 or 3 days. All you're gonna do here is play music. You're not gonna say anything, but you're just gonna watch. You're just gonna watch the production roll, and so not be at the center of it. And that way you can, you're gonna be playing music on camera. It's the kind of the next step, and then that graduates into then acting on screen. And so you take the baby steps, and they made that so comfortable that like by the time we were ready to start filming the TV show, we were like, we're good with these cameras, we're good with this crew, we know these people, and we feel safe and protected inside of the space. So that was the easiest part. I'd say the hardest part was then like on the acting front. There's like you have to get over that step of like feeling goofy because you and your friend are you know exactly what your friend's gonna say in 5 seconds and you need to act like you don't. There's like in
Oh,
the beginning,
interesting. Oh, that's
there's
interesting.
so much
Yeah.
of that like
Yeah,
feeling
yeah, yeah.
silly. You feel silly. You're like, I'm not an actor. I'm a drummer. Like, what am
Oh,
I
I would
doing
feel,
here?
dude, I'd feel so stupid. I'd be like, I can't take this seriously. This is
You know,
such
it's,
a,
it's
yeah.
so hard to like
It's
actually
so
lean into
it's
it.
so strange. Wait, dude, was there any one piece of advice you got from maybe your acting coach or any of the producers that just stuck with you and helped you?
I don't know if there was anything that like kind of helped me snap out of that. I think it was just the reps. Like
The reps, yeah.
and
Okay,
it
yeah.
was
Again.
like there is also a sense of like camaraderie. Like you have to like guys, we got to take this seriously. We are going to be in this TV show, and like we don't want to make a fool of ourselves. So I guess there's a little bit of fear there as well of like looking goofy and like you want this to work. So like please like let's believe in each other, and like let's take this seriously. But like it's not that people didn't want to not feel silly. It's just it took a lot of time. So it was just reps. They didn't really say
Yeah.
anything in specific to help us get out of that. It was just doing the thing, with our coach for a couple years.
I
All
mean,
right.
totally checks out. Um, so what is the main reason the show didn't get renewed? Are you allowed to talk about that? And if
Yeah,
not, don't worry about it. Yeah,
totally.
yeah.
We were just lacking viewership. I feel like
Really?
I think we lacked a little bit of marketing. We didn't see the TV show in quite as many places as we thought we were going to, or as much as we were told we were going to. So it became this thing of like we created a pretty cool bubble of like Runarounds fandom, where obviously we're living inside of the bubble, and so on like on TikTok and all that stuff, like it's all we're seeing. But at the end of the day, that bubble is just not it's not big enough. And then it came time for us to go on the road, and Amazon started looking at our tour. And we had initially planned a tour that was about every room was 200 to 400 caps.
And did you plan that before? Did you plan that before the show got released? And the
Yeah.
idea was, show gets released, we go on tour, and this is going to help us. Was that like obviously I'm not going to ask you or get into like money stuff, but I my brain can't help but wonder, like, was a part of the package for you guys, like, okay, at the end of this, we're going to have a band that can actually go on tour and
Yeah.
sell tickets, and that's going to be cool. And like, Amazon's going to have nothing to do with that. That's going to be our own little thing, which is
Just book your
badass,
own
right?
tour and everything.
Yeah. It's like a launching pad for a band, basically.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
We were really looking to detach from Amazon in that sense. Obviously, not for any malicious reasons. They're doing a huge
sure.
thing for us, but like we want it to be a real
For
band.
sure. Yeah.
And we knew that we could do it. And so, we put together that tour before the TV show came out.
Okay.
It was all set up so that we could get on the road pretty soon after people saw the show.
And it was small enough clubs that you knew, like, we're probably going to sell these out and it'll look really
Yeah.
good on a ad
We
mat, and
wanted
it'll
to,
be
like,
like, yeah.
We signed with CAA, and CAA was like, we want you guys to blow this tour out. We want to sell it completely. That looks great on paper. So let's keep the room small, and we were just crossing our fingers that we could sell 200 to 400 caps, and the tour sold so incredibly quickly.
Yeah, immediately.
We hadn't played a single show yet, and the entire tour was sold out. So then CAA, they said, let's
So fire.
rework the tour. Let's try and upgrade as many of the venues as we can. We didn't end up getting to upgrade that many of them. We got to upgrade like 6 to 8 of the rooms.
It's hard to
and the
do
rest-
that. Yeah. It's hard to do that after the fact sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like it was so funny for us because then we started like CAA was like, okay, we're struggling to upgrade the rooms. Let's just book another leg and go bigger on that one. So then while we're on this first leg of the tour, we're starting to see the second leg come together and like all the emails and stuff, and the rooms are way bigger, and we're getting our minds blown by like where we're about to play. And
So
in the
fire.
process of being on these Zooms with like CAA, then you're pulling up to like this 200 cap venue. You're like, what's going on right now? Or like, I don't know how to feel about any of this. But
I've played the amount of venues I've played on those 2 tours you did. I've played so many of those venues, man.
Really?
It was cool. It was cool. I was showing. Yeah, so is Joe. It was like I was showing when the tour first got, when Ann and I, my girlfriend, when we were watching the show and the tour first got announced, I was looking at the dates. I was like, holy shit! I've played a bunch of these clubs like back in the. So you did the first tour you guys did. You guys did it in a van, right? You guys
Yeah.
were just like, let's just do this in a van, rough it. You know, you were building your own drums every day, like the whole 9 yards. Okay.
I think it makes the most sense that way, right?
Of course. Oh, no. Yeah. 1000%. That's the only way to do it. And then the second tour you did was like theaters and like amphitheaters in some places. Like, didn't you guys do an amphitheater in North Carolina or something?
We did like 2 of them, and it was mind blowing. We didn't know what was going on. But yeah, the fact that we were even there in the first place was like.
Wait, did you already have like drum endorsements and stuff when you went on your first tour?
No, it all came from me afterwards.
Who are you with now?
I'm with Zildjian, Tama, and Dick Firth.
Oh, Tama.
So fire.
So that all came
So fire.
after the second leg of the tour, during that tour, or when did that happen?
During
And how
this-
did it happen?
I got lucky, man, because for the TV show, I needed drums. I was playing my dad's drum kit here at home, growing up. I didn't, I had like kits and stuff, but in terms of like a professional drum kit, I was just playing my dad's to get better. And then when it came time to film, I didn't really have like gear to bring with because he was going on the road. I couldn't bring his gear with me. So I told them, I was like, I need drums. And they were like, okay, we're going to like try, who do you want to play? And I was like, you want me to tell you which companies I like? And they were like, yeah, tell us. And I was like, are you gonna be able to like get these companies to help us? And they were like, yeah, we got the connections. We have the guys that did Bohemian Rhapsody and like the whole movie
Oh.
on that side. And so I was like, okay, I like playing Tama, I like playing Zildjian, Vic Firth, and Remo. And they were like, okay. And next thing I knew, I was like getting in contact with reps from all these companies, and they sent me a kit for the filming process, sent me a batch of symbols, let me pick out the symbols, super cool. I was stoked. And then they took that kit back. I couldn't keep it after filming, so I was like, okay, well, I would love to like buy one now, and that's how the conversation started getting rolling. I just like I had the connections from having been on the TV show. I went to NAMM that year, and I started meeting up with a lot of the guys that helped me, and I hadn't met those people in person yet. So it was like, thank you so much for helping me get a kit for the TV show.
I know all those guys too, which is cool.
They're
Well,
cool dudes, man.
well, I've been on Vic Firth and Zildjian for a long time.
Yeah.
I got
And
Remo
Remo.
a couple years ago. Well, I got Remo like 2-3 years ago. So, but Roger at Remo, it took a long time. It was like 8-9 years of trying to
Wow.
knock on that door. So you did the first tour in a van, because we Joe and I talk a lot on this podcast about just touring in general and how you know the ups and downs of it, because it can be incredibly challenging. I've gone on a lot of tours in my life.
Yeah.
How dope was it going from a van to a bus? And then also, how much crew did you have on that second tour? Once you kind of guys knew what you were doing, and the rooms are a lot bigger, and you know you have a budget now, all that shit. Like, how did that work? Were you guys doing meet and greets as well on both tours?
We started selling a VIP package, not on the first leg. On the second leg, we didn't realize that there was going to be a demand for any of that the first
Well, it's
time
also
around.
it's a little harder to do in clubs, just logistically. But once you get to bigger
Yeah.
venues, it's much easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
First
started
leg was
selling-
just a trial to see what's going on out there.
Literally, and it was
Yeah.
mania. We were not prepared whatsoever.
So
We were making-
sick.
A lot of these venues were very upset with us because we were bringing, I mean, just a horde of teenage girls to these venues that usually never get this demographic coming through, and they just didn't like us very much.
But did you guys have an opener, or was it you guys playing for 2 hours?
We did bring openers. We had some really cool bands come out with us. A lot of friends as well. We tried really hard, like not to change the topic, but like in the TV show, we would wear T-shirts from like friends that were in smaller bands, and be like, if we have the opportunity to like be on this TV show, like let's try and do things for like indie bands.
Support
that
the
we-
Cool.
homies.
Yeah, so we were like we're wearing a bunch of like T-shirts from bands that we're friends with that are
That's
that are
so
trying to
tight,
come up.
dude.
That made us
You're a
really
real
happy.
one for that.
It's
How-
just such a cool opportunity to be able to do that, man.
Yeah.
How wild was it? Like, once the show actually came out, I'm sure there was a ton of anticipation for all of you guys. But like, once it came out and you guys just watched, because the internet is so powerful, and how was it overwhelming? Like, just the followers and the DMs and the general like what you were saying, the TikTok bubble, like the general thing, because you see it with pretty much every viral TV show these days. It's just Summer House just dropped something. I don't watch that show, but my girlfriend does.
Yeah.
There's a ton of like, it's everything on TikTok right now is like Summer House this, Summer House that. So like, was that overwhelming? Was it cool? Was it shitty? Like, what was the
Well, we
my come up has been like 15 years of this. Okay, yours was like 1 year of that.
right.
Yeah.
We were the Outer Banks cast was very nice to us, and they really took us under their wing in terms of like acting and all that good stuff. But they gave us a lot of like insight as to what their come up was very quick as well. When that season, that first season of Outer Banks came out, was during COVID, and it skyrocketed.
Yeah, shit.
And
Yeah,
so
for
they
sure.
like. I remember specifically the lead guy in Outer Banks, Chase. He told us, he was like, "You guys are gonna have a rocket ship strapped to your ass. Hold on tight." And we were like, "Okay, that's terrifying." Thanks,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
But they kept it very real, and they kind of guided us as to the mistakes that they made during that weird time in their lives, and the things that went well, and tried to prepare us as best as possible. That combined with the years of like just trying to wrap my head around what was going to happen, just 5 years of just laying in bed and laying up at my ceiling and thinking about it. I think the combination of those two things made it digestible. Like when it happened, I felt like I had been prepping for this for so long. It was like I can deal with whatever is
It's
about
not
to
like
slap.
not like it just came out of left field. Like you knew it was
Right.
gonna happen. Yeah,
Yeah, and so I had so much time to like mentally prep for it. But of course, it was still like I wouldn't say scary. It was just more exciting. I was ready, man. I was ready to like for the world to see it. The first thing we did on the day the show came out was we were in New York for a press, and we went to Times Square and we looked at it on a massive billboard in Times Square, and that was like the start of the whole process for us was doing that. And that was so gratifying because it was like here we are, like we're it's happening now. Um, so yeah, that was cool. And then I think going and playing shows so soon after the TV show came out, that's what helped to ground us into it because that's what we like to do. We like to play music, and it's like
of course.
it was weird up until like when we were doing the press and all that stuff. That was like the weird part. As soon as we started playing shows, we were able to relax into it because it's like now we're just kids playing music.
Yeah,
And
you don't have to play the
years.
character. Yeah, you don't have to be like I'm a person showing up to do all these TV spots and
Right.
morning shows and interviews. And
Mhm.
speaking of which, what was like during that process, during that sort of media run to promote the show? Were there any crazy moments, like celebrities you met, like just kind of being in that sort of world of like, hey, we're on a hot TV show and
Yeah.
everybody wants to interview us? Like, what
We
was some
started, like-
highs and what are some highs from that experience?
Well, I look back really fondly on that. That's like
Yeah, you should. You should. I think it's really cool.
it was fun,
Yeah.
man. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the whole press tour was awesome. We got bunched up with some of the other Prime Video shows and movies that were happening at the time, like The Summer I Turned Pretty. There was a movie series called Max and Hall. There's another TV show called We Were Liars that is on Prime as well. So we went out to New York for like this kind of group press junket thing. And there we had that experience that you're talking about. Like we started meeting people that we'd seen on TV and like people that we were just like very well aware of who these people are and they have no idea who we are. And Prime would do this like they would do this thing of like, okay, we want to like cross content, like we want to have like some people from this show, some people from that show, and do like fun like games and stuff together. So they would do a lot of that, and they would like to get to know each other first is like go up on this like New York high-rise rooftop that you've never felt like you belonged on before, and now like go mingle, and there will be like some snacks and drinks. Go mingle, but like while you're doing it, there's gonna be like cameras and stuff everywhere.
That's crazy.
Make it
That's
feel
so
like
crazy,
comfortable.
bro.
Like make it like be normal. And it's like I've seen this person on my TV for several years. So that was very, very tough for us because we felt like we didn't belong there. We felt like we were like normal people in the midst of celebrities, and that like made us feel very awkward. But I felt like we held our own well.
Oh, dude, I felt that way many times in my life.
It's weird, right?
I'm
You're
in a
like,
dressing
I'm sorry.
room and some A-list rock star walks in and I'm just like, hello.
Hell
I know
yeah!
you don't know
I'm
me.
too. But yeah, I'm also.
Hi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, this is totally normal. I belong.
Yeah.
But I think we did a good job of like just being normal and not like fanboying over anybody, and like leaning into the games and stuff. My bandmates are like very charismatic guys, and the fact that we are doing this as a group allowed us to like lean on each other, and that was very helpful. So yeah, that was a little bit of a whirlwind. But once we got through like most of that like press stuff and all that, we got on the road. It started relaxing, and then when we were able to upgrade to the bus, that was cool. None of us had been on a bus tour before.
Dude,
I was
the
only
first
person that
first bus tour, you can't forget it.
You'll
It's
never
the
forget
best.
that.
It's the
It
best
was-
feeling of all time. It's just
definitely, man.
insane. You push the
I
code
was-
in the door. It's like the whole thing. You're just like, I cannot
Everybody
believe how
remember
sick
the
this
code. What's
is.
the code?
Yeah.
Um, we
Did you have any crew? Like, what was the thing?
for
What was
the
the vibe?
first time, the first leg we brought
You had 12 bunks, and it was just the
we
band.
on the van tour we didn't bring anybody. It
Yeah, of
was
course,
just
yeah.
us and our manager.
Who drove?
Our manager
Oh, he drove you guys? Okay.
didn't trust anybody else with like this trailer or anything. So he was just like, all right, like I'm gonna drive this van. He was a trooper. And
So
it
you
was,
guys sold your own merch and everything, or did he do the merch table, or?
um, I definitely didn't do any of it. I think it was just him. I think he was
Okay,
selling
that's fair.
merch. Did we bring a? No, yeah, we didn't bring anybody. It was the six of us, and a
Damn,
photographer.
why didn't
That's
you
right.
guys?
We were
I wonder
meeting
why.
somebody.
I wonder why they didn't rent you guys a bandwagon. Cause like, if you sell at a club tour, you can definitely afford a bandwagon, and it would have just made things a little easier. You could have had a couple extra body, whatever. I don't know.
They didn't have anybody. We brought a photographer because we were like, we need
I'm gonna
pictures for
manage. I'm gonna
Yeah.
manage bands later in my life. That's my
and get
thought.
it and get it right because you're like,
Get it
what are
right,
these
yeah.
guys doing?
What are
They're
they
doing some
doing?
weird. Once we
Yeah.
got to the bus tour, then we added lights, we added monitors, we added a TM, we added a merch guy, and that's our
But
crew
you
now.
still
We have
you still all dealt with your own gear. No, you
no,
had no crew.
we did bring a stage tech as well, and for drums, we have front of house, and front of house he's a drummer, so he was playing both. He was playing both sides. He was setting up my kit.
He was drum
and then-
teching and doing front of house.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
Nice.
still doing it.
not
He's the man.
It's not a crazy combo because he has to mic the kid anyway. So
Right.
Yeah.
It worked out for him, and he actually ended up having a lot of fun with it. So he's crushing it right now. But that's our little team. We've got like 6 people.
so fire.
Yeah, lights, front of house, merch, TM, stage tech, and then a photographer.
Cool.
Got the whole package there, ready to hit a tour.
Now we've got monitors on this last leg of the tour that we're about to start. We've got monitors now.
Sick.
Oh yeah. That's a game changer.
Yeah,
So
game changer for sure.
yeah,
Right?
it's a game changer. It is.
Man, that's so
When
freaking
you
cool.
so we'll kind of wrap it up here, but like, what are the future plans for the band? What are your hopes and dreams for the band? I know you and I spoke about it personally the other day, but
Yep.
for the people listening, like, where do you want to see this band go? Obviously your dream has always been to play drums for a living, so
Yeah.
you're at the start of that process, and you've got basically, like I said earlier, a launching pad for a band. You kind of got to skip some of the very early days, but now you have an incredible product and an incredible brand that you can, build
Build off.
on. So
Yeah.
that's what I said to you the other day. It's like, you should triple down on this because this is a good thing. So
Yep, and you're young, and you got you have so much time to just run it. So super exciting.
Yes, sir.
yeah. So do you guys have plans coming up, or like, what are your plans for the band?
We're now we're at the last stretch of this tour. It's been the same tour the entire time. The minivan tour is what we were calling it. So we did
Yep.
it's 3 shows total. We've got 10 left. So we're gonna knock them out here in June. After that, we're gonna try and make another record. We're not gonna really stray from the sound that we've built. The idea is just more of the same because it's been working, and we don't feel like we're at that point yet where we like need to mature too heavily. We're still very young. Nobody has facial hair. It's like we're you know what I mean. We're kids. So it's like let's stick with the sound, lighthearted dance songs, and let's try and make another batch of them. Let's get them out. Let's tour it again and see what we can do. We're living separately from the TV show now. It's a little bit different because we had always envisioned a world in which we were doing multiple seasons of the TV show. It's kind of always the goal. And so we were always kind of imagining ourselves jumping back and forth between touring and like making songs and filming a season. Now the door is kind of wide open for us to tour and make records because we don't have to dedicate any time to filming. So yeah, we're gonna wrap up the tour. We're gonna make another batch of music. Try and tour it again. See what happens.
So
Hopefully
sick.
Netflix hops on the phone here soon. And
Hopefully Netflix calls and goes,
what are we doing, guys?
Come
Come on,
now.
Netflix.
Pick this
Well,
up.
Right.
Well, on a personal note, I think you're a fantastic drummer. You already know I think that. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for the guys. I think no matter what happens with the band, I think you're going to have a great career.
Same.
And
Thank you, man. Appreciate
yeah,
it.
man, we're rooting for you. It looks like, I just looked at the dates coming up. It looks like you guys are playing Bonnaroo. That'll be sick.
Yeah. We're so excited, man.
That'll be fire.
To be
I
awesome.
think if you get, if your management does a good job, and you guys get positioned the right way, I do think people will catch on. People have no idea the show even exists. I think we'll
Right.
just like the band. and then they'll go, wait a second, they run a TV show, and that'll just kind of be old news. But I think that people just, as musicians, as fans of music, I think people will just like the band, which is what you guys all wanted in the first place anyway. So, yeah, man. So cool. Thanks so much, man, for your time. Thanks for coming on. Everybody go follow Zende. Go check out the Runarounds on tour. I want to get out to a show. I'm going to be in England playing Download when you guys are doing Bonnaroo. But, hopefully on the next run you guys do, I can come out and catch a show, man. It'd be awesome to hang out in real life.
That would be awesome. Yeah. It's been a pleasure being here today. Thank you guys so much for having me. What a fun chat.
Yeah, this is so fun, man. This is like one of my favorite episodes. Yeah, this is badass. Yeah. Hell yeah. All right, dude. Thank you so much. We'll talk later, guys. All right, peace. Bye-bye.
Peace.